All right, on today's podcast, I'm talking to Anthony Falco, international pizza consultant. I've actually talked to Anthony Falco a couple times on the podcast before. Not this one, but a previous podcast we did. And the conversation is great. It's always interesting to hear what he sees when he travels to other pizzerias. And what I'm fascinated with is how do you help these pizza operators develop their pizza recipes, set up the kitchen, train the staff to open a pizzeria? And a lot of the times he works with people who have never opened a pizzeria before, and this is their first foray into it. And I'm fascinated to hear how that process goes. We talk a lot about that on this podcast episode, as well as what my favorite pizzeria would be if I decided to open up a pizzeria maybe in the future, which we've talked about here on the podcast. So great episode with Anthony Falco. You're going to learn a ton. I enjoyed it. I always do with Anthony, and let's get right into it now. All right, Anthony Falco, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for hanging with me today.
Thanks for having me, man. Good to talk to you again.
No, good to talk to you. It's been a while since we've talked last. You've been up to a lot of stuff. It's crazy watching you travel the world on Instagram. You do a great job sharing, by the way, of what you're up to.
I try to make it look fun, but yeah, I mean it's it is a lot of fun. So I mean it's been a great string of jobs and really talented people and um, you know it to me it's very exciting because it's always different, you know.
Yeah, it's fun, right? And we were talking before we got on the podcast that everybody who follows your journey on Instagram probably is like, oh man, that's the dream job, which it is, right? Like you're gonna say yourself that you have an amazing job, but there's a lot of things you don't see that go on with traveling and organizing and that are kind of left on the chopping block. So yeah, it's fun, but there's a lot of work that goes involved with it too. And I know how much and how hard it is to travel for work and be in a different location all the time.
Yeah, it's I mean the travel nightmare when you travel as much as I do. I mean you're gonna get some bad luck. So I mean this summer I was had some had some real doozies. Do you remember the CrowdStrike attack? Um, it was like this hacker attack on
Oh yeah.
global air. Okay, so that was a bad day for anybody traveling, but for me in particular, I was in India and I was trying to make my way to Qatar and then to Italy. And so what happened is you go through customs, so you're leaving India, you're still in the airport, but you've gone through customs,
Right.
and then the we're waiting for the plane, and they're like, okay, this gate is not going to be the gate, so we're moving, and we keep moving, and they're like taking this whole group of people, and we're walking us all around, and now it's like, clearly the flight's not leaving on time, and then it's like at some point it just becomes clear that like they don't know what's happening and everyone starts freaking out and they start yelling and I'm like, hey, they don't yell at them, they're just trying to do their job, and they're like, who are you? Just fuck off. And like people started losing their mind, but then eventually what happened is like they were like, this flight's not going to happen, we don't know why, and it didn't cancel. So it didn't cancel, which means in the system they couldn't rebook us.
Oh,
And then we've already had our visas ended by being stamped, so we can't leave the airport either. So and we can't stay in the airport because we don't have a flight.
oh my
And
jeez.
so they put us in this room. So we're in like this limbo. We can't go back to India because we don't have a visa to go back because our visas have been stamped. And then we can't book a flight because Qatar never acknowledged that the flight was canceled because this hack attack has happened. So for 12 hours, I sat in a little room, just like sat with a group of other very angry, very mad, very hot people. Yeah, it's not fun then at that point, I
Sounds like a
mean,
great time. I'm sure everybody wants to be a
yeah,
consultant now.
yeah. I mean, the job in India was great though.
Do you travel by
So,
yourself?
yeah, I mean, there's occasions when my family can join me, like if it's within driving distance, that's always great, if in the summer, if they're not in school and it makes sense, they can come meet me and my sons are decent and make me and my son made like 11 pizzas yesterday
That's
for
great.
my oldest son helped me make the 11 pizzas, and then my youngest son, it was for his soccer game. So
Oh,
we
cool.
delivered them to the soccer game. So yeah, they're both pretty good at making pizza. They've been making pizza their whole life. I mean, I'm hoping that they're gonna, now that Frank is like, working age, that he's gonna get much better and like get a job in a restaurant, so he realizes not to do that with his life. Um,
Do you think they'll
but
ever
yeah, I
work with
mean,
you?
maybe. I mean, they've worked. We this last summer, my friend Tony Piombo, he's got an oven building company in Napa, and he makes fantastic ovens.
What's the name of it?
Um, Forno Piombo,
Nice.
and it was started by him and his father. Uh, Tony was in the Marine Corps and then left, and then after figuring out what he was going to do, he got his dad, who was an engineer, to like help him start this wood-fired oven company, and they build ovens, and they're mostly for people's like backyards or wineries and things like that, but there does a little commercial. I don't, he hasn't put them in too many restaurants, but they're mostly for people's backyards. I mean, but they're full size, brick by brick ovens. So we were doing his 10-year anniversary party, and we we were in Washington. We picked up a 50-pound bag of Karen Springs Glacier Peak, which is my, I mean, maybe my favorite flower in the United States, if not the world. It's incredible. If you've never used them, you should try them out. You can mail order them, but they're based in Skagit Valley, Washington. We went to the mill and we picked up the flower, and then we drove to Napa. It was all my wife, my two boys. We drove to Napa. We went to Marin Farmers Market to pick up all the produce. And then we made pizza. Everything besides the flour was from California. The tomatoes, the mozzarella, all the produce, the olive oil, the sea salt. And we made like 100 and something 50 pizzas for this party. And it was us and two other guys helped us out. Um, and like it was the best day of my life. Like they were there. Roman was cutting pizzas, Frank was topping pizzas, Bex was calling out names, and like we were just like family pizza, little pizza making family. It was great. It was
That's
very
fun. It's fun
cool.
when your kid. It's fun when your kids are finally old enough to understand what you do and then be involved with what you do.
Yeah, I mean, and they did two like 12-hour days like on their feet, and they snapped too. They didn't complain. They just did the work. We did it together, shoulder to shoulder the whole time. And then we had a day off in San Francisco. It was really good. I mean, it was like, you know, let them see how that works. Like you work really hard, and then you get a day off and you have you day off really hard, like we went and ate at a
Yeah,
bunch of places, and went to Bernal Heights Park, which is an incredible place to watch the whole view of the city. Um, Highly recommend. Went to Go Duck Yourself if you're in San Francisco. It's a Chinese barbecue place.
okay.
Highly recommend.
I'm gonna write that down because I'm gonna be actually in San Francisco next week as of the recording of this podcast. So when it comes out, I may already be there.
Great. What's on your pizza radar for San Francisco?
I'm gonna go check out Mark from Square Pie Guys. I know Mark. We've been friends for a while online, so we're gonna go check out his couple restaurants. Long Bridge Pizza Company is another one I'm gonna check out. I know that
Okay.
I've had him on the podcast. I think I've had him on the podcast like 4 or 5 years ago, and he's been doing some pretty cool looking pizza. Long Bridge Pizza Company, and
I don't know
then
that one.
Sunset Squares. I also had them on the podcast a while ago, back when NFTs were a thing. We talked about NFTs and pizza. They were kind of into those things, and we talked a
I
little
don't
bit.
understand NFTs, but
I kind of do, but they're not as popular now as they were around. Yeah, I think
yeah.
2020 was kind of a thing.
Yeah. And then Out of Sight is also
Yeah,
great.
that's another one. I messaged them. I haven't heard back yet, trying to confirm something there.
Cool, super cool place. They just opened the second location. And then Jules, my friend Max, who one of the most talented pizza makers I know. I think, you got to put that on your radar. Just opened. Seems to be going very well.
I'm gonna look them up after we get off this podcast. I'm gonna shoot them a message, see if I can kind of stop by.
Great.
Super cool.
Yeah. I love San Francisco. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. I think it's probably one of the most beautiful cities i- on the planet.
That's I've never been to San Francisco. I've been to California a bunch of times, and but I'm always in Southern California, so I've never gone to San Diego. It'll be my first visit.
Okay, cool.
But I'm
That's great,
excited.
man.
It's always been a city I've wanted to see, but I've never been up north there. So it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna do some recordings of videos. We've been doing a lot of these videos. So I said I work with Slice. We go into these cities and we go into these shops and kind of record the behind the scenes, kind of like more business oriented, right? Like how do you run the shop? Like how do you get business? What kind of pizza do you serve? It's not an in-depth pizza show. It's more of a business pizza show.
Cool. What's going on in the pizza business these days?
We're trying to, I think it's always an ongoing business. The one thing I've learned about doing these podcasts over the last 10 years is nobody knows what the hell they're doing. That doesn't matter like how many
I
pizza shops you
definitely
have.
I definitely don't.
Yeah, me either. It doesn't matter how many pizza shops you have. There's always something you're working on or working through in the business. It's never, I've figured it out and I've solved all problems.
Yeah, I mean it's there's just a lot of moving parts in a restaurant, you know. I mean, I think part of what I do, like one of the biggest values that I bring is that I'm just kind of not freaking out so much, you know. Like when everything is happening and like, you know, you arrive, I come in, the restaurant's about to open is a very hectic time. Like people are still doing construction, you know, the food orders are just starting to come in. It's all like and you know something's going wrong with a major piece of equipment or something. And, you know, I guess I've just done it enough times where I'm just like, okay, like bite, like turn it into bite-sized problems and you just take them one at a time. And
Yeah.
you just, you know, I think having and just having that presence of when the grenades are going off and someone's just kind of strolling through, you know, that just kind of has a calming effect on the whole project, you know, and it's just like I mean, it's not like a special skill of mine. It's just time, just
Yeah.
having done it a
You've
lot
done
of
the
times. You know
reps.
what I mean? Done the reps, exactly. And it's like a lot of people, I mean, they maybe only open a couple restaurants, two or three in their like lifetime. And you know, it's one of the most stressful things that you can ever do. It's like, it's extremely stressful. So to have like something like 50 or something under my belt, you know, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I've seen a lot of things. You know, I have a couple of tricks that you know, I know what's coming down the pipeline, you know.
You do consulting for people who are opening pizza shops from scratch, but also opened pizza shops that are already open, right?
Not as much. My business is, I mean, I would say the vast majority, 80-90% is people opening from scratch where I've started like, you know, for instance, I just got back from Lidditz, Pennsylvania. I was working on a project there called Cavolo. Um, which means cabbage in Italian, but it means a lot of other things besides cabbage. But that was 2 years ago when we signed the contract, and that's you know, I mean, that's how it goes. Like I did a project in Taipei this summer, and that was almost 5 years
Wow.
in the making. So most of what I'm doing is very long term and it's from scratch. So it starts with the layout, you know, and I do the designs. For instance, Cavolo, I did the whole kitchen layout. So and worked with Fiero Group, who I work with, to place the wood-fired ovens, you know, work with Peter over there on ventilation systems and, you know, workflow and all that stuff. We had a really cool system here at Kavlo where we had a pass-through Charleston fridge. So there was this backup bank of fridges where you have like your backup dough and your backup mise en place, and then there was a pass-through, so someone can come from behind. They don't have to cross that line. Someone from behind can fill up that, refill that, and then you have your dough right there to pull out. It was pretty cool. And those wood ovens, the Pavesi, um, I mean, it's like I hadn't worked in one of those in that oven in a little while, and that's what I worked at back in the day at Roberta's. But it's just one of my favorite ovens. It's just, I mean, I love wood ovens. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's that's it. It's mostly it's a lot of stuff that you don't see. The design, the you know, helping menu, the concept. I mean, what is the right concept for the right place? The size of the pizza. I mean, all these little things, for sourcing for Cavolo, we're in Lancaster County, which is, one of the best agricultural regions in the country. So that was a big part of it, was like, how do we really, s- lean into this agricultural region? Local cheese, we were using Caputo Brothers Creamery from Pennsylvania. We were using we found a local flour mill to get some stone milled spelt to put into the mix. We were running specials. It was springtime, so we had like great spring specials. I mean, it was a really cool project. But yeah, it's a lot of that. I don't, do too much going into places already and like, fixing up. No, that's not a lot of what I do. I don't
Any
think
reason
so.
why? Is it just not something that you want to do, or is it different? Is a different project altogether?
I mean, I think like a big part of what I do is selecting people. So like, I mean, I think if you like that, yeah, I mean, I don't want, like, sometimes there can be problems that are just too built in,
Yeah,
and I don't, and they can be kind of endemic of the operator, or the person doing it. So it's like that, changing pizza recipes is one thing. Changing people is above my pay grade. That's
yeah.
just
I've had
not,
many people reach out to me and like, "Hey, I have this problem." Like, you're fucked. You should just
yeah.
close it and open a new one. Yeah,
Really? Wow. No, I
yeah. I've had,
uh,
yeah, like there's a lot of places that are like in the wrong area. They have the wrong product. They have the bad marketing message. It's just they started everything in a bad place, and it's just like, and they're in such a hole financially that they're never going to be able to climb their way out of it.
it's hard. I mean, I think that, like I said, selection is a big part of what we do. Is like, we working with opera. I mean, for instance, again, going back to Cavolo and these guys, just Max, who's the chef partner. He's from Italy. He's an extremely talented chef. Didn't have any pizza background, but had this foundational cooking background. Worked in like incredible Michelin star restaurants. You know, just a great chef all around. That I can kind of we can start talking about pizza and we're already at like, a high level, right? We don't have to go over the basics of like this is how you label your food when it comes in. I mean, that kind of stuff. If you go into, I'm sure this is also if you're talking about the fix up projects, you go in and it's just like basic level
Yeah,
organization, cleanliness and stuff is not being
yeah,
followed. Like
yeah,
I don't want to deal with that. Like I want to work with cooks who are real cooks, real chefs who, work clean, they're organized, and they need to know about fermentation. They know about the philosophy of how you put together a signature pizza. Like how do you take five ingredients and then put them together in an artful way that is going to be delicious and profitable. That's what I want to get into, is like the high level stuff. I can't like unlearn your bad habits really a lot
yeah.
of times. So
And you have the luxury of having so much time put in that you probably are at a place now where you can pick the projects you want to work for because there's probably more projects that come to you than you could probably work with.
yeah, and I mean I'm lucky that then also people kind of I have like kind of a style. So people, if you come to me, you probably already are interested in sourdough
Yeah,
fermentation. You're already interested in working with local products and things like that. So, whether it's wood or electric or gas, that's, we can determine that, you know. Um, but yeah, what is, something I want to ask you about is when you talk about like the business, the right concept for you know, the New York slice, renaissance that we're having. I mean, it's like, I mean, there's so many incredible slice shops in New York. Really, a lot of people all over the world, they see that and they're like, I want to open a slice shop.
right.
I personally think a slice shop is a terrible concept outside of New York City. Um, but I mean, you see it work a lot. But like, what do you think? What do you, as a concept, is there one concept that you see, you know, that is, well, how do you see slice shops working outside of New York? And then, what are concepts you think that are like better in if you were trying to talk somebody out of a slice shop?
Yeah, I think if you're trying to do a very specific New York slice shop where slices are your main thing, it's going to be hard to do those in any area other than a very dense city, because it's just not going to get the foot traffic that you need. Like I was in Orlando, or not Orlando, Tampa the other day, and there was a pizza shop that has kind of a, they're kind of going for that New York slice shop, but it's more of a pizza shop. And it's just to drive from where you live in that area to the pizza shop is like 25 minutes, right? Like anywhere in
Hmm.
Florida is a 25-minute drive no matter where you go. So it's not going to work great there. But I think the round, right? The New York inspired round pizza is the best pizza regardless of where you're operating, because it has the most people know about that, right? That's what they think of when they think of pizza. It travels the best, whether that's for a pickup or a delivery, for the popularity of the product, right? Like grandma or Sicilian or Detroit may travel better, but I don't think you can eat those twice a week, where you could get New York-ish style pizza twice a week. So to me, like that's the best style of pizzeria to open regardless of the area.
Yeah. So whole pies, New York style.
Yeah. I don't know if
I mean,
slice, you can have slices, but I don't think you should be a slice shop.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, I mean, I think a big part of, the restaurant business is, that is as people get excited about, like, oh, no one's doing this, so no one's doing it. I want to come in. I'll be the first person to do it. I mean, maybe no one's doing it for a reason. I mean, I think like, you don't want to be weird,
Right.
like in the restaurant business, like you want to be normal and be great at something that's everyone knows.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think like those styles, like I mean, I love Sicilian, I love Detroit and Grandma and all that stuff, but like, I mean, in everywhere, I mean, even I think even outside of it, like everywhere in the world, even I've seen like people want a pizza that is, thin but not too thin, not paper thin, that is crispy but somewhat pliable, and this has like the toppings are kind of cohesively on there, and you can
Yeah.
pick it up. Like even in Italy. Um, like Neapolitan style is very specific to Naples, I mean, you see there's Neapolitan pizzerias everywhere in Italy, but like they usually like a more baked, crispier pizza. I personally like Rome's pizza scene like the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I end up talking a lot of people out of slice shops all over the world just because it's like unless you have that dense, and then even if you have the density, like say you're in somewhere in Asia, and you're in a walking city and you're trying to do a slice shop, the issue there becomes the value proposition,
Yeah.
because you're not in North America or you're not in Northern Europe. Like you don't have, or Western Europe or Southern Europe. Like you just don't have, like those are specialty items. Cheese becomes a specialty item in Asia, in East Asia, South Asia. And, flour and high protein flour and, tomatoes. It's like they aren't like it's cheap. It's cheaper to make a pizza in New York than anywhere in the rest of the country, you know?
Yeah. You have ingredients at your fingertips there. You can get any ingredient at any time.
And you have a high volume of people using those ingredients, so you have competition. It's not a specialty item,
Right.
right?
And you don't have
So
to
that,
educate people. Like that's, I see a lot of these Roman pizzerias popping up where they're doing Roman style and they're having a hard time because nobody knows what that is outside of us nerds in the pizza community. So you have to educate them on what it is on top of
yes,
selling it.
and that's not fun. No one wants to be like, I mean, I try to tell this to my clients too, is like the story, they're like, the story you want to tell is that you are obsessed with pizza and you needed to open a pizzeria to fulfill your dream. I mean, that's the story, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's the only story that people really want to hear. Not that you had an idea, you saw a trend coming and you wanted to be ahead of the trend and you're gonna corner the market on this new style of like no one wants to hear that. Like, and then I mean, like I said, I think Rome is my favorite pizza city anywhere, and I love Roman style pizza. And there's multiples different
Same.
styles of style pizza, but it's like I wouldn't recommend someone to do it necessarily. in the United States. I mean, the Altaglio is great. The slice shop. I mean, I think that's a great concept. But again, you walk in and you don't see any round pizzas, and people have scissors cutting the pizza, and it's like, yeah, it's just you're already on your back foot. You know,
Yeah.
I think the tonda, the thin and crispy one, again, I think it's great. But it's like the Romans know what's going to happen when they get that pizza to go. I
Yeah.
think if you don't know what's going to happen, it's like it's going to be severely disappointing. There's going to be zero crisp after like
Yeah.
5 minutes in the box when you have a pizza that's that thin, you
Yeah.
know? Um, but going there and sitting down, those are some of my favorite places. I mean, there's like I absolutely love. I'll be there next month, and I'm always very excited to be there.
I love it. I went to a pizza, thin crust Roman style pizza. There's a gentleman, Eugene, doing in Dallas, Pizzeria Carina, doing
Okay,
sourdough Roman style thin crust, not the taglio, but the
the
round.
round,
Yeah.
and is he doing it in a wood oven or
No, he's using a Pizza Master.
interesting?
Yeah. So he's doing it kind of inspired. Started at home as like a home pop up baker kind of thing, and then turned it into a pizzeria, and he's doing pretty well there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and is it mostly like sit down, people coming in, sitting down and eating the pizzas?
No, he's doing what you're doing. He's having a little bit of a hard time because people are like getting delivery and to go, and he's having to educate people. But he did it. I think he did it the right way. Like he worked at home making pizza for a year or two before he opened up his business. So he built up people who were familiar with his product versus just opening and having no exposure whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah, there's I mean, and I think that I mean, I think if you encounter a pizza style like that and you become obsessed with it like and you want to make it and master it, that's the reason to open a
Right.
restaurant is because you want to do it. You want to do it every day. You enjoy making that style of pizza. Um, Everything will follow that if you have that as your foundation. Um, but yeah, if you're like, oh, this is this is the next. People ask me a lot. What's the next pizza trend? I'm sure people ask you a lot too.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the next pizza trend? Um, like same one it's always been. Like
Yeah.
making better pizza.
Right.
When familiar pizza, making it better.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's only so many ways you can manipulate dough in an oven.
yeah,
So like I feel like we're at peak exposure for the different styles of pizza that you could possibly do, whether that's in a pan or on a peel or in a wood or a gas or electric oven. It's just like it is what it is at this point. It's more about like what you said, the people behind the pizza and the products and how you make that pizza.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that like categorization and like talking about what is the style of pizza, etc. Like that in the past, that always came after from someone outside. I think if you go back to these pizza places that are foundational in creating these styles, and you ask them of what they were doing, they would just say, "I'm making pizza." I don't think they necessarily were like thinking that they were trying to do something different. They were just doing, they were like, I'm just going to make what I know of as pizza. And then those idiosyncrasies kind of like become a style later on.
Yeah, I think the people who don't. This is gonna sound bad, but people who don't try as hard for the outside people are the ones that seem to me, from all the pizzerias that I visited, are the best ones where they're like, I just want to make, like you said, make the best pizza possible. I'm not really worried about what my restaurant looks like on Instagram or having the most followers. I'm focused on the product itself, perfecting it. It's a simple menu. I don't have 1,000 different things on my menu. I'm doing this couple things really, really well. And those are the ones that I've noticed seem to be getting the most exposure, even though they're not really trying for that exposure.
I mean, that's it, right? I mean, isn't that like it's very simple. Um, it's a very simple business when you think of it that way. It's like do something, that people like
Right.
and do it well, and try to be the best you possibly can. keep it simple. Don't have too many things. There's a lot of reasons to do that. One, it's like a lot for people to like digest when they come in. Two, the more products you have, the more waste you're going to have.
Yeah.
Each product has a percentage of waste and, shrinkage that occurs with each product. So as you add those up, you're going to have more across all those different products, and it's more to keep track of. And um, keeping things simple is like, I think if you look at, some of the most beloved brands of any kind of food, it's like they're really sticking to one thing and they're doing it well.
Yeah.
And then just quality, let quality be your marketing. I mean, this is what I tell a lot of my clients too, is just like, look, don't worry about, if you do something great, and don't talk about it, at some point someone's going to experience your effort, the greatness that you're trying for. And someone will experience that. And then they will ask you a question. And they'll be like, God, this dough just tastes so good. Why is
Right.
this dough like this? Oh, it's a 48-hour, process with a pre-ferment and, a portion of stone milled sprouted spelt or whatever. And then the person's gonna like be like, okay, and they're gonna tell their friends about it. You now have an evangelist for your
Right.
brand, right? If you put out a sandwich board in front of the restaurant that says 48-hour stone, it's like all you're doing is you have expectations and you're now trying to just meet these expectations. You're not, if you have zero expectations and then you perform and then they ask you, they are discovering the story. They're more likely to want to share that story,
Yeah.
right?
Low expectations. That's the key to life, for everything.
Yeah.
Movies, pizza, restaurants. I think
Yeah.
anytime you go into something with low expectations, you're usually pleasantly surprised or not disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, my career was much earlier in the early days when no one really knew much about me, and I came in and they were just like, "Oh, there's this pizza guy coming," and then now I'm a little more well known. It's like it
It's
makes
harder
it a
now.
little more
Yeah.
dip. I got to win over these cooks, because they come in and they're like,
Let's
"Who is
see. Let's
this?
see what you can
Who?
do.
Yeah, who is this guy?" And I'm like, "Oh, I guess."
Do you ever think about opening your own pizzeria? Because I'm sure at that point it's going to be pretty hard.
Well, I mean, that was always the plan, like from the beginning. And I've just been sidetracked a lot. So, at this point, I don't know. I mean, I've thought about it, but I have a pretty good setup. It would have to be really the perfect thing. I mean, it's a little harder going on the road now that my kids are older. Like
Yeah.
my youngest son really is like, you're leaving again. But I don't, is opening a restaurant really a formula for spending more time with your family?
Hell no.
So, I mean, unless they're working in the restaurant with you.
Yeah. The only thing is they could stop by and say hello versus on a
Yeah,
FaceTime or something.
exactly. Like, so yeah, I'm gone for, 2 or 3 weeks, but when I come home, I usually have some downtime, like a few days here and there. So it's a pretty good balance, I think. I think my body can continue, holding up on the travel. So we'll see. There's no plans right now for opening a restaurant, that's for sure.
If you opened a restaurant? What do you know? Like, do you have any idea of what it would look like?
Oh yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, I think about it all the time, you
Like,
know.
would it be wood fired? Do you know an oven you'd use?
I mean, there's part of that's the big debate. It would either be electric or wood fired. So the wood fired part, is that I just enjoy starting the fire. I enjoy working the fire. I enjoy the three-dimensional cooking of the pizza. Um, Electric though has this like there's like a heat like zone that you're able to like hover in that is
Yeah.
very difficult to do with wood fired. Like, I don't understand. Have you ever been to Raza?
Yeah, I know, Dan.
Dan,
We did a
yeah,
video there a couple months ago. Dan showed me
yeah.
around this whole kitchen and operation was great.
I mean, one of the best guys in the business.
So
He's
nice.
great. And I've cooked his pizza before in a wood oven. We did like a food festival thing. And man, I don't know how he does it with the wood oven because you have to just really pull back. For me, it's like trying to like drive a Ferrari at 25 miles an hour. It's like that to get that style of pizza, it's so good. And that crispy, kind of baked, like longer bake in the wood oven. But for me, if I was going to do that and I like that style of pizza, I would do it in an electric oven just because it's really hard to like run those wood ovens at a low temperature like that.
Yeah,
I'd be torn because I want to be, I wouldn't want to do like full on Neapolitan in the wood oven, but I also know from like from a consultant perspective that like, okay, the way a wood oven works is it's like there's reflective heat, and the longer you're baking the pizza in the oven, the more you're blocking it from recharging. So it's just not the right tool for the job.
yeah.
I mean, it's magical, it's amazing. So yeah, I mean, it would be between electric and I just was this was in the spring just a few months ago. I was in Italy, and I went to it's a little town. I can't remember the name, but it's in Marche, and it's where Moretti Forni is. I went to their factory.
Oh wow.
Um, and I mean, I've been working with pizza. I've worked with pizza masters all over the world, Mongolia, Thailand, and everywhere. And I love the pizza master, but the Moretti, I'm actually really excited about working with. That's this when I go to Costa Rica, I'm going to be working with the Moretti. I'm excited about trying that out.
I like the I like if I opened it, it would probably be electric or gas, like because
Yeah,
the wood fired scares me from an operator's perspective because I know how good the pizza can be, but I feel like you're limited as to the versatility of the pizza that you could make with a gas. I mean, sorry, versus it like with a wood fired versus a electric oven because I don't know. I'm always afraid of having no customers, right? Or having customers like, you can have the best pizza in the world, but like you said, if nobody knows about it or if they have to eat it there for it to be the best it possibly can be, that frightens me as an operator.
yeah. I mean, I think when I talk to my clients about it, I mean, because it's the biggest first decision you make is
Yeah,
like, what is your oven? Because the oven is the biggest determination of the fat of the style. Like if you took the same dough and you put it in a gas oven or an electric oven at 700 or a wood-fired oven at 900, the dough is going to look very differently. I mean,
yeah,
it's going to look blistered in the 900 one, and it's going to look baked in New York style in the gas one, right? So that's your biggest decision is the oven. And so I say, you know, wood is amazing. It's three-dimensional. It's like driving manual. You have total control,
yeah.
but it's a highly skilled position. So you have to either you are doing it or you're spending a lot of time training people how to work that wood oven to have a consistent product come out of it. Um, the electric oven is going to take a lot of that factor out of there. The temperature is controlled, top bottom. I mean, it's not perfect, but it definitely is a factor that you take out, and then you can worry about your fermentation, which is a lot to worry about.
Right.
Because like hitting that, consistent level of fermentation is how your pizza is going to come out. Is going to be um, when I look at people's pizzerias, I see inconsistent fermentation in the dough, and
Yeah.
so like one of the biggest things that I teach people is how do you make a product that comes out lunch, dinner, every day the same, that looks like it comes from the same pizzeria. So that's going to allow you to worry about that in the electric oven. Gas, I feel like is no one's first. I mean, it's always a compromise, right? It's like the projects I've done recently with gas is like, oh, well, they can't use wood. Like wood's too expensive or whatever. So they have a gas dome oven and they're doing Neapolitan style. Okay. Or they don't have the right electricity. They don't have three-phase, or like you're in a
Right.
country like the Dominican Republic where, electricity is just way too expensive. So we had to use gas. I mean, it's great. We got some Marsal ovens. We were making beautiful pizza, but it was a compromise, I think. So yeah, wood and electric for my pizzeria, that would be the first big decision I'd have to make if I was gonna open a pizzeria.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one too because I don't want to. Someone I did a podcast with somebody and they made a great point where you never want to have, and this was related not to the style of oven but more the menu itself. You never really want to. They said you never want to have an out. You never want to have like a group of people come to your pizzeria and be like, you don't have one thing, so that group has to go somewhere else. So you always want to kind of create a menu that can please whether they're a vegetarian or a vegan. You have at least something for them to order. And the same thing with
Yeah,
like the pizza, right? Like to me, if I was to open a pizza business, I would want it to be catering to as many people as possible that kind of know about pizza that would order pizza. So to me, that's the round New Yorkish style pizza, right? Like it's the least common denominator when people think of pizza. It's probably the first pizza they think of. So to me, that has the widest audience. So that's what I would go for.
You don't want to do the Tony G thing and have like 5 ovens and every possible style of pizza known to man in one roof.
Hell no. I was an operator and we had like a delivery business. It was like a 90s delivery business and we delivered, right? And we had like 12 to 15 delivery drivers on a Friday night. And I always said if I open a pizza shop, I'm never going to do delivery. It's going to be like takeout and dine in only, but no wait staff. More like a just like a traditional pizzeria where you go in, you can eat, you order at the counter, you go get a great pizza, you sit down, small menu, and that's kind of it. That's what I would want to do.
Yeah. What do you think is the perfect like complement to a pizza? Like let's say you have a pizza menu and there's other items. So like in Rome, the complement is fried items. So they have the supli and the fried pastas and the fried lasagna and all this different like so people start with some little fried things and then
Yeah.
they have their thin crust pizzas or even at the slice shops they have supli and then you have the slice. So what do you think is the perfect kind of counter or foil to like a pizza menu?
I would probably do pasta or salads or something like that, something simple. I don't, fry laters scare me because I know how messy they are in a kitchen, and it could if you don't have your systems really dialed in for your kitchen and cleanliness, the fry laters can make it a mess real quick, which
I
frightens me in a kitchen.
spent years in front of fryers and I'm in no rush to do it again for
Yeah, so
sure.
that's the same thing. Like I don't know if I probably wouldn't have a fryer just for that
Yeah.
reason alone.
The project I was working at uh in Lidditz, they are connected to a steakhouse and they had there's a local uh meat processing facility they get tallow from and they
Oh,
were doing beef tallow fries. Dude, they were very good. And that's something where like if you're not dealing, I mean again, it's the same issues of dealing with a fryer, but at least you can feel good about the fact that like, like
yeah,
it's not some seed oil thing. So, um yeah, I mean I think like I love pasta. I was a pasta cook before I was a pizza cook. I feel like though it's like one of them is always going to be like out of balance with the other one, and
yeah,
so it's hard. It's like you're going to be known as either a pizza place or a pasta place, and then I mean, if you're known as a pasta place and you have pizza, it's going to be hard because pizza wants to be done in volume. It's really
yeah, yeah,
hard to. It's a lot of effort to make dough, and then if you're not selling a lot of it, it's kind of things start to suffer. Pasta though, I feel like if you're doing fewer pastas, as long as you can handle the labor of that person sitting there waiting for the tickets, um, the pasta's only going to be better if they're not,
right.
doing super high volume. They're going to be making,
Very
great
focused.
pasta.
Yeah.
I love pasta.
Me too. I love fresh pasta. Fresh pasta is my favorite thing to eat. I mean, I can't eat it all the time. Like I can, although I don't know what the difference is between pizza dough, pizza, all the time and pasta, but it just something about pasta feels like you shouldn't eat it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think well, I mean, without fermentation, like, I guess it's not the starches aren't as broken down, but I don't know. I think I think in the right portion size, like in Italy, it's like 100 grams for a dinner portion and like 75 to 50 grams for a lunch portion. Like that, I think that's a big thing with pasta is just eating the right amount,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And then going for a nice walk afterwards is important. Pairing it with some just vegetables and simple vegetables and proteins. Um, but yeah, I mean, I also very much love pasta. We're going to Italy. We're going to go to Rome, um, but also going to be going through Emilia Romagna. So the
Nice.
fresh pasta, like land of fresh pasta, and so it's going to be very very exciting to the tortellini and the tagliatelle. It's going to be very nice. I'm very
This is
excited about that.
that's great. I've never been to Italy. I got to get to. I'm very much not an international person. I don't know why. I've been a ton of places in the U.S., but I've never really traveled abroad. I need to fix that.
I mean, would recommend going to Italy. I mean, always. It's I mean, it's also there's so many different areas to explore, that like I mean, for pizza, you have Naples and Rome, which is great. And then there's so many like regional, like, like Bologna, going there, and their local cuisine is incredible. And, Milan actually, you know, kind of has a pretty cool scene too. They have a very interesting pizza scene. Have you ever seen the Milan style pizza?
No.
They call it pizza al trancio, which is just like pizza by the slice, and it's like a 16-inch pizza, but it's deep dish. So it's a pan pizza. It's like very thick crust, but it's
Oh,
not
okay.
like and they bake it in a wood-fired oven, and they usually bake it without the cheese and just the tomato sauce on top. And then once it's fully cooked through, then they'll apply these thin layers of mozzarella, and then it comes out and it gets sliced up, and then they'll put other toppings on top, and then you sit down with a fork and knife and you eat it. Um,
I was just googling it as you said that. It kind of looks like almost looks like is it same as like Argentine kind of pizza?
It's
Similar
similar. Yeah, it's similar to that.
look
It's
wise.
they put a lot more cheese in Argentina in the porteño pizza. So it's like the slices of the mozzarella they put at the very end of the Milan is very thin. So it's like it what it reminds me more than anything of is like OG Pizza Hut.
Okay.
Like the pan pizza. Like, because the bottom gets, they put a bunch of oil in the bottom, and it's in that wood oven, and it's like frying on the bottom, and then it's just like this super thin layer of fresh mozzarella, and this like, and a more sauce kind of underneath there. And yeah, it's good. I like that I think it has its roots in Puglia, because they have the focaccia that they do in the round pans like that, focaccia barese. And I think that Milan's food scene is interesting because they experienced a lot of internal migration. So there's a lot of people from the rest of Italy that moved post-war to work in the economy there in Milan, and it's a
Yeah.
huge, like, it's two-thirds of the entire Italian economy is in
Wow.
Lombardy. Um, it's and so you have like one of the most famous little street food places of Panzerotti, which is totally a southern thing, but it's been in Milan since like the 50s, and it's super popular there now.
That's great. I'm gonna check that out if I ever go there. I could talk to you. We could probably talk about pizza forever, but I don't want to take you too long. This is a Sunday when we're recording this, so where can people
Yeah.
go say hello to you? I know Instagram's probably the place to follow you, Millennium Falco on Instagram. What about a website?
Website is piz.za.com. And I've got some recipes there, some free recipes, a link to a bunch of videos that I've done.
Your book too.
My book, yeah, is still available on Amazon and all fine book retailers. It's been, you know, um, consistently up there selling books, so happy about that. Hopefully start working on another. I got a couple ideas, and yeah, we'll have to when that is comes more forward, we'll have to do another podcast. I'll talk about those ideas, but
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, reach out on Instagram is always great. I try to be as responsive as I can, and if you see me in your city making pizza, come say hi to me.
That's
I'll
it.
I'll be there.
We'll link everything up that you talked about in the show notes for this episode. But Anthony, thank you so much for hanging out with me. It was fun talking to you again.
Yeah, it's great talking to you, Bruce. I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. Thanks for Anthony for joining me on the show. We'll link up everything to get in touch with Anthony or follow him on social media in the description below this video or podcast. Also, hit subscribe, hit like, leave a review on iTunes. Super helps the show. Really appreciate it on my end. If you are interested or any of the content that we've produced over the past couple months has been helpful, hit subscribe, hit like, share with your friends. That'd be the best way to show your support to the channel here, which is great, in my opinion. I appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. And also, check out everything that we have to offer in the description below this video. You need some point of sale system, some pizza boxes, a custom website, all of that great stuff that Slice offers, phone service, top notch. Check it out in the description below this video. All right, thank you so much. See you next week, everybody.